The night I finally made my family see me. You ever have a moment so sharp it cuts through years of pretending? Yeah, that was me last Thanksgiving. My mom had that same fake glitter smile on, the one she pulls out when she's about to throw me under the bus and call it a joke. She tapped her glass like she was starting a speech at a wedding. Maya, she said, loud enough for the whole table to hear, your sister's wedding was just perfect. So, when's yours? Cue the polite laughter, forks clinking, dad carving turkey like it was urgent surgery. My sister Chloe just sat there, quiet but watching, always watching. And me? I set my fork down slow. I already had mine, I said. You guys got invitations? Then, boom, silence, heavy, physical. Dad blinked. We never got any invitations. I smiled, small. Yeah, it's about that. Growing up, the thing you gotta know about my family is everything had to look perfect. Not be perfect, just look it. Every photo was staged, every memory edited, every story told in a way that made us sound like a Norman Rockwell painting. And every single one of those stories had Chloe at the center. She was the sun, and the rest of us just trying not to block her light. By the time we were teenagers, that wasn't just sibling rivalry. Wow, it was the whole system. Mom turned her into a brand. Dance recitals, cheer competitions, trophies that literally had their own shelf lighting. Meanwhile, I'd win science fairs, get into college early, but mom would still say, "Oh, honey, we'll take your picture later. The lighting's better for Chloe's dress right now." So, yeah, I adapted. Got real good at being invisible. Then I moved out, 3 hours north to Portland, and something cracked open. I started breathing again, real air. I had this tiny apartment with tall windows, stacks of research notes everywhere, and this guy, Noah. Noah wasn't flashy. He was the kind of person who listens, like, actually hears you. He made coffee every morning, always remembered how I liked it. His family, man, they were real. His mom hugged me like she meant it, not like she was completing a task. His dad asked about my work and actually followed up the next time we talked. It was weird in the best way. So when Noah proposed by the river one foggy June morning, I didn't even hesitate. I said yes. We didn't want some massive wedding, just a small coastal chapel, 30 people max, food that didn't need hashtags to be good. The only thing I wanted, deep down, stupidly hopeful, was for my family to show up. I thought maybe just once they'd choose me. So I designed the invites myself, sent them out early, signature required. I even tracked the packages like a maniac, all marked delivered. And then, nothing. No texts, no calls, not even a congrats back in the family group chat. Weeks passed. Then the wedding passed. And still, silence. At first, I told myself stories to stay sane. Maybe the mail got mixed up. Maybe they were planning a surprise. Maybe Mercury was in retrograde or some crap. But deep down, I knew. Somebody didn't want those invitations seen. And the ugly truth? I already knew who. See, Chloe had always been the household gatekeeper, the responsible one. She sorted mail, handled bills, answered calls for mom and dad. Nothing got past her, so I pulled up my tracking receipts. 4 packages, 4 signatures. And one of them, that signature was hers. The curl of her C hit me in the chest. She didn't forget. She didn't lose them. She intercepted them. Noah just looked at me, calm as ever, and said, "Babe, what do you want to do?" At first, I didn't know. Anger felt too small. What I felt was older, like finally seeing the bruise you've been covering for years. Thanksgiving came around, I almost skipped it. Almost. But then I thought, nah, I've spent my whole life keeping the peace. Time to keep my truth instead. So I showed up. Everything looked picture perfect, like always. White tablecloth, crystal glasses, candles flickering like they were auditioning for a magazine cover. And Chloe, right by the fireplace. Husband adjusting her hair. My mom bragging about her September wedding to anyone breathing. Dad pouring wine like a robot on autopilot. No one asked how I was. No one mentioned my wedding. Fine. I took my seat across from Chloe. Dinner kicked off with the usual script. Oh, Chloe, your gown was divine. Your venue, just magical. And every word was another reminder. They showed up for her, but couldn't even acknowledge me. Then came the glass tap. Mom's voice. Chloe's wedding was just the best. So, Maya, when's yours? I swear, even the turkey knife froze. I looked straight at Chloe, then said, calm as a still lake. I already had mine, 6 months ago. The silence, nuclear. Oh, Dad blinked. We never got. You did, I cut in. You just never saw them. I reached into my bag. My hands weren't even shaking. Pulled out my phone, screen glowing like truth in digital form. Here, I said, 4 deliveries, 4 signatures. Guess who signed? I zoomed in, showed the screen. Chloe. Mom gasped. Dad leaned forward like he needed to touch the proof. Even Chloe's husband looked like someone had just unplugged his world. Chloe. Still. Too still. These were delivered April 17th, I said. Signed for by Chloe. Every single one. Dad whispered, that can't be right. I swiped again and showed the postal receipts. It is. Mom shook her head. No, no, no. Chloe would never. Oh, stop. My voice wasn't harsh, just done. You keep saying what she wouldn't do. Maybe start noticing what she does. That hit her. Hard. Chloe's husband turned to her, voice low. Did you sign for these? Chloe blinked, too quick. I don't remember. Maybe I grabbed the mail, but I didn't see any invites. Sure. And I'm the Pope. Dad's tone sharpened. You didn't see 4 packages from your sister? Right when she got engaged? It's not my job to track everyone's mail, she snapped. There it was, the first crack. Let her talk, I said quietly. She's had the floor my whole life. Chloe glared. What's that supposed to mean? I didn't answer. Just pulled up one more screenshot. The email logs. This is the family email, I said. The wedding announcement I sent was opened here, from this house, then deleted. Dad's jaw locked. Who has access to that account? No one needed to answer. Everyone knew. Chloe's face drained. I didn't delete anything. I tilted my head. Then why's your device ID on it? She stammered. I don't know. Maybe I clicked it by accident. Why are you attacking me? I'm not attacking you, I said. I'm just showing you the truth. Mom jumped in, desperate. Why would she do that? Why would Chloe hide your invitations? I turned to her, calm. Because my wedding was in June. Hers was in September. And then it hit the room like thunder. You couldn't stand that someone else had the spotlight first, I said, looking right at Chloe. Even me. Her mask cracked. You think you're so innocent, she shouted. You don't need anything. You don't even try. Everyone just feels sorry for you. There it is, I said softly. The truth. Dad looked wrecked. We didn't know, Maya. If we had... You would have come? I asked. After all the times you didn't? After every birthday, every milestone you forgot because it wasn't Chloe's? He closed his eyes. Mom's voice shook. We did our best. No, I said steady. You did your best for her. For me, you did the bare minimum and called it fair. Chloe's tears finally came, messy, real, late. Her husband just stared at her like he'd never met her before. I looked around the table. These people, my blood. and yet strangers I'd been auditioning for my whole life. I didn't lose my family tonight, I said quietly. I just stopped pretending I had one. Mom gasped. Maya, don't say that. Why not? It ruins the story you like to tell. The one where Chloe's perfect, Dad's neutral, you're the peacemaker, and I'm the problem? Dad whispered. No one said you were the problem. You didn't have to, I said. You showed it. I stood up. My chair scraped softly, but it felt like thunder. I'm done begging for a seat at this table. Done pretending silence is love. Done letting your comfort cost me my voice. I grabbed my coat. Dad stood too. Please don't go. We can talk. We are talking, I said. For the first time, and the last time under your rules. Mom cried. We can fix this. You can't fix what you won't admit exists, I said, opening the door. Cold air hit my face. I paused just long enough to say, You didn't miss my wedding. You chose not to see it. Then I walked out, not slamming the door, I just closing it. Firm, final. Noah was waiting in the car, headlights cutting through the dark. When he saw my face, he didn't ask a single question. Just opened his arms. I broke then. Not from sadness, but relief. Because for the first time, I wasn't holding myself together for them. The next week, Chloe sent a long email. Therapy talk, apologies, excuses dressed as reflection. I read it, didn't reply. Dad called a few times. Careful, quiet. I let him try. One day he mailed me something, one of my original wedding invites. Found it buried in their garage. No note, just proof. And that silence? That was the closest thing to an apology I ever got. Mom never called. And for once, her absence didn't sting. It just confirmed what I already knew. Now, when I sit in my own kitchen, Noah flipping pancakes, music playing low, I look around and realize something wild. This is family. Not because of blood, because of choice. Because of the people who show up, the ones who listen, the ones who stay. And that's the real story. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away from the people who never learned how to hold you. If that hit close to home, drop a comment. And remember, silence isn't peace, it's just permission. Don't give yours away.